Hello everyone, it's Jesse. It's the weekend. I usually don't do videos on the weekend. If I do them, they will be like short video clips. But this topic is different. The only reason I'm talking about it and making this video for this weekend is because I had just saw this on Facebook, even though my friend posted it yesterday. Well, I don't know what, the 17th. She posted it on my birthday, but I missed it. It's a quote, status type quotes from a website, and I will link the website below in the description where this came from. This is talking about social anxiety, and the reason why I'm wanting to share this on video is because this explains me. This explains some of what I go through, and I don't know if I've ever gone into detail with you guys on what social anxiety it does to me, etc. So this is probably really informative to you that don't have social anxiety. Those with anxiety, with social anxiety, know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. They've probably been through it themselves or are currently still going through it. Now, when I read this originally, I cried 3 times, only because the emotions was running high. It was written by, I don't know who it was written by, but whoever was writing this knows what they're talking about. So I'm gonna try not to cry, okay? It's gonna take me a while to read this, so this video is not gonna be just real short. So, welcome to the world of the socially anxious. I'm gonna say that's what the title of this video will be. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. If it looks like I'm a little higher than normal, it's because I'm sitting on one of my legs because my butt was hurting sitting in this chair. I need a new cushion, so I'm sitting on one of my legs. That's why I'm a little higher. And yes, it's very, very cold outside, but I've got my heat on high, so I'm actually in a sleeveless shirt. Okay, enough of that. Here comes the talk, and I'm going to be facing this way, not this way. I'm going to be facing this way toward the TV. Okay, so first thing it says, this is what social anxiety is like. It's an all-consuming fear. There is no normal interaction with other people. There is no confidence in going to work. There's no wanting to go out all the time. No making new friends. It's hard enough to keep the old ones. It's hard enough to socialize with people closest to you. Holding down a job, don't even think about it. Calling friends on the phone, answering their calls, nope, because you're afraid you won't know what to say or you'll sound stupid. If you have no trouble talking to people, going out, socializing, going to work, living your life, then you will never understand this. A man finds it difficult to walk down the street because he's self-conscious and feels that people are watching him from their windows. Worse, he may run into a person on the sidewalk and be forced to say hello to them. He's not sure he can do that. His voice will catch, his hello will sound weak, and the other person will know he's frightened. More than anything else, he doesn't want anyone to know that he's afraid. He keeps his eyes safely away from anyone else's gaze and prays he can make it home without having to talk to anyone. A woman hates to stand in line in the grocery store because she's afraid that everyone is watching her. She knows it's not really true, but she can't shake the feeling. While she is shopping, she is conscious of the fact that people might be staring at her from the big mirrors on the inside front of the ceiling. Now, she has to talk to the person who's checking out the groceries. She tries to smile, but her voice comes out weakly. She's sure she's making a fool of herself. Her self-consciousness and her anxiety rise to the roof. Another person sits in front of the telephone and agonizes because she's afraid to pick up the receiver and make a call. She's even afraid to call an unknown person in a business office about the electric bill because she's afraid she'll be putting someone out and they will be upset with her. It's very hard for her to take rejection, even over the phone, even from someone she doesn't even know. She's especially afraid to call people she knows because she feels that she'll be calling at the wrong time. The other person will be busy and they won't want to talk to her. She feels rejected even before she makes the phone call. Once the call is made and over, she sits, analyzes, and ruminates about what was said, what tone it was said in, and how she was perceived by the other person. Her anxiety and racing thoughts concerning the call prove to her that she's goofed this conversation up. Too, just like she always does. Sometimes she gets embarrassed just thinking about the call. A man hates to go to work because a meeting is scheduled the next day. He knows that these meetings always involve co-workers talking with each other about their current projects. Just the thought of speaking in front of co-workers raises his anxiety. Sometimes he can't sleep the night before because of the anticipatory anxiety that builds up. Finally, the meeting is over. A big wave of relief spills over him as he begins to relax, but the memory of the meeting is still uppermost in his mind. He is convinced he made a fool of himself, and that everyone in the room saw how afraid he was when he spoke and how stupid he acted in their presence. At next week's meeting, the boss is going to be there. Even though this meeting is 7 days away, his stomach turns raw with anxiety, and the fear floods over him again. He knows that in front of the boss he'll stammer, hesitate, his face will turn red, he won't remember what to say, and everyone will witness his embarrassment and humiliation. A student won't attend her university classes on the first day because she knows that in some classes the professor will instruct them to go around the room and introduce themselves. Just thinking about sitting there waiting to introduce herself to a room full of strangers who will be staring at her makes her feel nauseous. She knows she won't be able to think clearly. Her anxiety will be so high, and she is sure she will leave out important details. Her voice might even quaver, and she would sound scared and tentative. The anxiety is just too much to bear, so she skips the first day of class to avoid the possibility of having to introduce herself in public. Another young man wants to go to parties and other social events. Indeed, he is very, very lonely. But he never goes anywhere because he's very nervous about meeting new people. Too many people will be there, and crowds only make things worse for him. The thought of meeting new people scares him. Will he know what to say? Will they stare right at him and make him feel even more insignificant? Will they reject him outright? Even if they seem nice, they're sure to notice his frozen look and his inability to fully smile. They'll sense his discomfort and tenseness, and they won't like him. There's just no way to win. I'm always going to be an outcast, he says. And he spends the night alone at home, watching television again. He feels comfortable at home. In fact, home is the only place he really does feel comfortable. He hasn't gone anywhere in 12 years. He has no network of support to help him overcome these horrible symptoms. It's just easier to avoid social situations. In public places such as work, meetings, or shopping, people with social anxiety feel that everyone is watching and staring at them, even though rationally they know this isn't true. The socially anxious person can't relax, take it easy, and enjoy themselves in public. In fact, they can never relax when other people are around. It always feels like others are evaluating them, being critical of them, or judging them in some way. The person with social anxiety knows that people don't do this openly, of course, but they still feel the self-consciousness and the judgment while they are in the other person's presence. It's sometimes impossible to let go, relax, and focus on anything else except the anxiety, because the anxiety is so very painful. It's much easier just to stay away from social situations and avoid other people. More than anything, he doesn't want anyone to know he's afraid. Many times people with social anxiety simply must be alone, closeted, with the door closed behind them. Even when they're around familiar people, a person with a social phobia may feel overwhelmed and have the feeling that others are noticing their every movement and critiquing their every thought. They feel like they are being observed critically and that other people are making negative judgments about them. One of the worst circumstances, though, is meeting people who are authority figures, especially people such as bosses and supervisors at work, but including almost anyone who is seen as being better in some way. People with social anxiety may get a lump in their throat, and their facial muscles may freeze up, when they meet this person. The anxiety level is very high, and they're so focused on not failing and giving themselves away that they don't even remember what was said. But later on, they're sure they must have said the wrong thing because they always do. How is it ever possible to feel comfortable or natural under these circumstances? To the person with social anxiety, going to a job interview is pure torture. You know your excessive anxiety will give you away. You'll look funny, you'll be hesitant, maybe you'll even blush, and you won't be able to find the right words to answer all of the questions. Maybe this is the worst part of it all. You know that you are going to say the wrong thing. You just know it. It is especially frustrating because you know you could do the job well if you could just get past this terrifying and intimidating interview. Welcome to the world of the socially anxious. Like I said, I'll be leaving a link in the description below. I only cried once. Almost cried a second time. But I kept it down to one. The one that I cried about, the one about the boy, another young man wants to go to parties and other social events. Like, you know, I don't like being alone all the time, and I have old schoolmates, like the one who posted this. When I was bisexual in high school, I dated this girl who posted this. I don't know how to explain it other than to read all those situations. Maybe you understand now. It's not easy living with anxiety. Even with medications, it doesn't help 100%. Nothing ever does. Well, one thing does, but I can't talk about it. I think everybody would know what I'm talking about. Well, most of you might know. But I can't talk about that. But maybe this opens your mind a little more. Maybe you more understand someone with social anxiety, why they may seem socially awkward, why they keep to themselves, why they're quiet, especially if you're in high school. If you see someone keeping to themselves, it's probably not because they're just shy. They may have a social phobia. I know I had it in high school. Even though I was semi-popular in high school, I was in a very small school. My anxiety still was very high. I missed a lot of school. Like, from 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, I went to school a total of like 2.5 semesters out of 2, 4, 6 semesters. That's how much my social anxiety was that bad. And there was no medication for me back then. Everybody thought I was just depressed, so they just pushed depression medication on me. There was no social anxiety back then. There was no, well, you have anxiety or something like that. You know, there was no medications for me to take, so I wasn't able to attend high school every day. Like I said, 2.5 to 3 semesters out of 6 I went. I mean, I can pull my records and look, but the only reason I graduated is because the principal was my cousin, and he knew that I had problems, I had issues. It's not that I didn't want to come to school, it's that I just really couldn't function well at school. Anyways, I hope this helped you some. If it did, let me know in the comments section below. Like I said, this is not a normal vlog video. This is just a video. I saw her post this and I said I'm going to read it on camera. And if you hear me sniffling, it's because I was crying and now I'm sniffling. Anyways, I hope this helps you in some way if you watched it all the way through, if you listened to me say that all the way through. That's why I find it much easier to socialize online, because I'm not in the same presence as the person, and it's so much easier for me to talk online and through this camera. Like this camera is my therapy. You guys are my therapy. My YouTube channel is my therapy. Doing these videos helps so much you don't even know how much these videos really help me. Even if they're depressing, or if I'm totally anxietied out, what I call angst out. Whether I'm in a good mood, bad mood, this is my therapy. Luckily, I have therapy 5 days a week with you guys, and today would be 6 days this week. But if you didn't have an idea about social anxiety or what people that have it go through, maybe this opened your eyes a little bit. So be cautious about the people you think may be weird or odd. They could simply have a social anxiety disorder, and it's so hard to say hello. Like for me, going shopping is the worst. It's not so much the shopping, the part, it's the cashing out. It's having to socialize with the cashier. If you go up to a cashier and they don't say something to you or try to talk to you throughout your cashing out session, they're probably not that good of a cashier. Not saying that all cashiers have to talk to every person that cash out, but at least acknowledge that they're there. Like if you're a cashier, at least acknowledge, say hello, that they're there. For me, talking back is the hardest part. Or when I can't find something in a store and I need help, oh my God, my anxiety goes through the roof. It's like unbearable. It makes me want to just leave, but you know, if I'm there shopping, I can't leave. If I've asked somebody to help me find something or get something off the top shelf or something like that, I can't leave. You know, I can't get out of that situation. But maybe this just opened your eyes a little bit more. I hope it did. But I'm gonna go. I would say peace, love you guys, and see you on the next one. But I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Monday. Peace, you guys. I love you, and I really do.